guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video is gonna be pretty much about some stuff I had to go through before I got my BBL done, and in order to get my BBL done. If you haven't, so if we do get started, do like and subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you do get an update every time I do upload a new video. Which, by the way guys, I know that most of my followers are because of the BBL journey, but I am thinking about maybe expanding it a little bit and doing other videos and doing something different that might help other people. So if you guys have any requests or any idea as far as to what I am able to do, or what you may be looking into YouTube sometimes when you are looking for certain help, whether it's advice on relationships, whether it's period about the stuff about depression, anxiety, just life itself, yeah, so you know, whatever it may be, or challenges, new challenges you may see, just let me know and I will look into it, and I will do, you know, I will try to help you out as much as possible. I just truly want to be able to help anybody out there that may need help, whether it's with advice or tips, or you know, anything, for real. You know, I'm pretty much good at anything, and if there's something that you ask me for and I do not know, if you haven't noticed by my video, I am somebody that does quite a lot of research and believes a lot in research. So I'll do the research and then do a video for you, just, you know, just to help out, you know. But anyways, let's get started now. So yeah, when I first got to Miami, so first of all, before everything was going smoothly, so on my birthday I decided to pretty much go ahead with the procedure. So I decided to go ahead and start doing a savings account and start putting you know, a savings account just for the BBL, and just start putting money into it. I talked to my fiance about it, and he pretty much helped me with the budgeting of it, and pretty much thinking about around what time we would want to probably do that, because of course we do have our own drywall company, our own drywall business, not company but business, and I do have that flexibility of being able to take off the time that I need. So sorry, just that I'm outside, there's like a lizard like right there. I don't like lizards. But anyways, yeah, so I just started looking into it, and then we started doing more research, because I do know that I have been overweight before, and I've had 3 pregnancies which all ended in miscarriages, and I was afraid from my research that I was gonna end up having saggy skin. So we spoke about it and we started doing more research, and he was like, you know what, whether you do have it, saggy skin or not, you know, we're not going to be able to do anything about it anyways, because we do want to have kids. If eventually I'm blessed with it, we do want to have kids, and it's better to get a tummy tuck after you're done having kids. So yeah, we went ahead and thought about everything, you know, for the future, whether it's for having kids, you know, just exercising, fitness goals that we do have and we've been having, you know, just different things. So we went ahead and went with it. I went ahead and I was looking into Dr. Durante for a few months before I made my decision to go ahead and have him. And I went ahead and looked for him, and when I looked for him on Instagram, I DM'd him, and he told me to go ahead and DM the coordinator, and he gave me Elena's Instagram, and I went ahead and DM'd her. Then she told me to email her my information, my height, my weight, and of course front, back, and side pictures of my body, and send them to her to see if I was a candidate for it. And from there, it ended up being that I was a candidate, you know, and the process went on. I had to wait a few months, so I ended up just focusing on savings. I ended up putting my deposit like 2 months after I spoke with her. 2 or 3 months after I spoke with her, that's when I decided to go ahead and you know, put my deposit down to save my date, my surgery date, which was January 11th. That's what we had, you know, decided on. So we went ahead and booked it, saved the date, and decided to go ahead and go with the procedure. So we went ahead and saved. Then around, when was it? It was, okay, so it was, okay, yep, it was around December 10th or so. I got an email from the coordinator, Elena, saying that that I needed to get my labs done. So they sent the lab work over so I could go ahead and get that done. I searched for a place to get it done. I went to an urgent care close by that charged me like 200 and something for all of the tests. They did all the tests for me, and they faxed it over to New Life, and I went ahead and got that done. But I didn't get it done that same day because those labs results expire in 30 days. If you do not know that, they do expire in 30 days. So I ended up deciding to wait and, you know, just wait and get them done at least halfway through December so they wouldn't expire, just in case anything happened when I was in Miami, which thank God I did, because if not, they would have been expired if I would have done it the exact 11th. And then I would have to spend more money to get more labs done because of the situation that happened that I'm gonna get to. But yeah, so we went ahead and did that. Then I got halfway through December, I went ahead and got the lab results done and sent them over to New Life. The next day I got an email with a whole bunch of fireworks saying that I was cleared for surgery, and that I had to come between 9 to 2 on the day before, so the 10th of January, for the pre-op, to talk with the doctor, and you know, pretty much everything else that went on with the pre-op, which if you are curious about what actually goes on a pre-op, I do have a video about that as well. But yeah, so nothing, so the day, the 9th of January comes, which is the day that we decided to go ahead and go to Miami. We decided to go a few days before, just in case anything might have happened. We went ahead we rented a minivan with, who was it? No, it was Alamo. Was it Alamo? Well, yeah, it was Alamo. And we went ahead and rented a minivan with them and decided to go ahead and head towards Miami. So we went ahead and got to Miami, which took 7 hours just because of traffic. Because coming back it was only like 3 or 4 hours maximum. So yeah, that tells you a lot about traffic. But we finally got to Miami. I stayed at an Airbnb that was about 9 minutes or 10 minutes from New Life. When I went for pre-op, I met with my doctor. Everything was fine. You know, all the nurses were fine, but there was some, like, for example, there was this one lady, which I don't remember her name right now, that I remember that I did speak with her on, sorry, I got a text message. I remember I did speak with her on Instagram once, but her name just says New Life, so I don't know her real name. But she was excuse my language, but she was an asshole when I met her in person. Like, she was an asshole. And I get that you're in a hectic place, but that does not give you an excuse to treat people like, you know, next, like you don't care. I don't, just whatever. I'm not even gonna talk about that, because that's just, I'm not gonna go through that experience again in my head, period. But so when I went ahead and got there, went through the pre-op, they took my blood pressure, they took my height, they took my weight, and then I had to wait for Dr. Durante. Finally met with Dr. Durante, and he was just very quick. He was just like, okay, what's your height? What's your weight? You know, have you had kids? Okay, what else did he say? He had, oh, do you smoke? Do you drink? Have you been pregnant? You know, stuff like that. Like, but he was just saying it really quick, and I would just tell him real quick. And he said, have you had surgeries before? And, you know, answer it real quick. He said, okay, stand up. So I stood up, and he started like touching me on my stomach and my belly button and whatnot. And and he didn't even let me ask him anything. And he's like, if you have, okay, he's like, okay, your surgery will be tomorrow. Here, my assistant will answer any questions that you may have and give you a date, time for tomorrow. So I was just like, okay. So I didn't really get to speak with him. But I was just like, fine, you know, because I like the way he works. I like the results he gives. So, you know, I don't care. I'm not trying to make best friends with him. I just want him to do his job and keep me alive. That's all I want. So I was good with it at the moment. And then, excuse me. Then after that, I went ahead and left and went to get something to eat. Went to the Airbnb, waited, and then like around 6 or 7 in the evening, I got a text from New Life saying that my surgery was going to be at 1 in the afternoon the next day. So cool. I'm like, cool, awesome. So I went ahead. They sent me a long list of things that I cannot do before 12 for surgery. Not 12 the next day, but 12 midnight. Okay, so you're not supposed to eat, you're not supposed to drink anything, you're not supposed to chew any gum, you're not supposed to do any of that stuff, you know, you're not supposed to take certain medications. So they send you a list of all of that, and they send you a list of pretty much what you have to do prior to surgery, like an hour before coming to surgery. So yeah, I went ahead and did that. So I waited the next day. I took a shower the night before. I took a shower with Dial antibacterial soap because that's what they told me to do. So I took a shower with that. And then the next day, I took a shower an hour, no, I want to say 30 minutes. 30 minutes before surgery, I went ahead and took another shower with the Dial soap. Got there at like 12. Yeah, I got there like an hour before because just in case, because I noticed that first day how hectic it was, and I didn't want to be like, you know, late because I was doing, you know, because it was hectic. So I decided to go early, and I went there at 12, which thank God we did because there was no parking and we had to wait. Then the parking guy decided to go ahead and, you know, park the car for us so we can just go up there. So we went up there, signed in. They told me what doctor I was with. I told them Dr. Durante. And yeah, so after that, I just pretty much had to wait for surgery. There was this woman that came in. I guess she was running late, and she was with Dr. Durante as well. And they went ahead and took her in and put her under so she could go get her surgery. So I waited, and I see that it's 1 o'clock. Nothing happens. I see it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and nothing happens. And I asked her, like, hey, my surgery was supposed to be at 1 and it's 4 o'clock. Like, what's going on? She was like, oh, what's your name? So I told her what's my name. And then she ends up telling me that he's currently with a patient right now, that as soon as he's done and it's my turn, that they will let me know, but that I was next. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm waiting again, and another hour passes by. Then I see 6, and I'm like 6:30, and then it's 7, and I'm like, they're pretty much about to close here, and they're like they're about to close, and it was just me and one other girl that was left, and she was gonna get done with Durante too. So I'm like, Durante's not about to get out of here until like something in the morning, till the next day when he's supposed to work. So that's not gonna happen. Something's gonna happen here. So it was like 7 o'clock at night, and then around 7:30 to 7:45 ish, somewhere around there, the manager calls my name. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going into surgery. So when I go to the back, she's like, I got some news for you. And then she's like, I got some good news and some bad news. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I've been waiting here since 12, and I haven't ate anything since 12 midnight the day before. So I was very hangry, guys. I was very hangry. So go back, and she's like, what news do you want me to give you first? And I'm like, well, go ahead and give me the bad news. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, usually people want to start with the good. I'm like, yeah, but I'm different. I just want to start with the bad. Just rip the bandage off. What is the bad? She's like, okay, fine. The bad is that Dr. Durante had an emergency. He's like the director of another hospital, and something happened with security, and they need him down there right away because there's an emergency happening. So I'm like, okay, so what now? And she's like, the good news is that he said he doesn't work weekends. He doesn't work Saturdays because the surgery day was on a Friday. But she's like, he doesn't work Saturday, but he said that for you and the other girl out there, because she's also with Durante, he's willing to come into work tomorrow and do your surgery. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, alrighty, cool. At least I get him fresh. So I'm like, I'm cool. Fine, that's fine, cool. So I leave and I get something to eat. And they tell me that I needed to be at New Life at 6 in the morning. So I'm like, cool. So I took a shower with dial soap again the night before and then the day after. And like 30 minutes before I went to New Life. So when I get to New Life, nobody's there. It was like 6 and nobody was there. So I was just, I decided to go ahead and wait. And I remember that they told me 6. So my fiance is like, are you sure if they told you 6? Are you sure that they didn't tell you like 6 in the afternoon? Like it was at 6 in the morning? Because here on the internet it says that supposedly they don't open till 9 or something like that. He had told me. I'm like, well, impossible because they told me 6. So he was like, okay, let's just wait. So I see that it's 6:10, 6:15, and nobody has gotten there. Then at 6:25 exactly, that I see the clock, it was 6:25, and I look up, the secretary's parking, and she opens the door for us. She tells us to go up, sign in, and to wait for her. So that's what we do. She comes in or whatever, and then we start waiting, and I see that it's around 7 o'clock already, which I was supposed to get my surgery at 6. Keep that in mind. It was like 7 o'clock already, and nobody, the doctor hadn't came in yet. No nurse hadn't came in yet. No anesthesiologist had came in yet. Nobody had came in yet. Just the secretary at the front desk. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm like, at 6 o'clock it was supposed to be, and they're late. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, but I'm not gonna mind as long as they get here. So finally I see that they walk in, the nurse walks in, the one that helps Dr. Durante walks in, and she's like, I'm sorry, hi, good morning. And I'm like, hi, good morning. And then she gets ready, they call me back, they tell me to pee in a cup, I pee in a cup. She gives me some stuff, the paper garment that they give you so you can cover yourself up, a little hat. They give me some and they gave me some compression socks and some like disposable undies. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, and then they gave me some disposable undies. And then afterwards she told me to come back to her. So I go back to her, and she tells me, look at this test. This one is the pregnancy, and this one is the nicotine. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, so not the nicotine, I'm sorry, the marijuana, the marijuana. And then she had the cup that had all these different types of drugs and nicotine and marijuana. And she told me, I'm like, cool, so it's negative. Both of them are negative, so I'm good for surgery. And she's like, no, honey. I'm like, I don't know. I cannot tell you right now because these are too light. They're very faint. I mean, I see them, but they're very faint, and I don't know if he's gonna accept this as a negative. I'm like, but no, on every drug test that it is, no matter how faint the line is, you're supposed to consider it a negative. And she's like, I know, but Dr. Durante, depends on what the Dr. Durante, just sit and wait, we'll see what he has to say. I'll talk to him. So I wait and I wait and I wait, and then the other girls get sent back, and she pees in a cup. She's never smoked in her life, so she came out super negative. And then she got dressed, and she was waiting for Dr. Durante as well. So then I am in a little office, and she's outside of the little office, but we can see each other because the door's open. And I wait I wait for Dr. Durante. Dr. Durante gets there like around 7:30, so he was late, and he gets there, and then they show him the test, I guess. But he comes in to where I'm at, and he tells me, like, okay, so this is how he is. He has his phone, and he's looking at his phone, And instead of, you know, coming into the office like a doctor, a professional doctor, and putting your phone down and talking with your patient and telling them like, no, listen, I cannot do this procedure for you because the way I work is this and this, and explain that to me at least so I could understand why you're considering it a positive instead of a negative, etc. You know, he comes into the little office, he stands up, he doesn't give me no type of eye contact, he doesn't stare at me not once, he just stares at his phone, and he's like, I don't know what he's doing, if he's texting or swiping, I don't know what he was doing, but he's looking at his phone, and then he tells me like, nope, I'm not doing your surgery, I can't do your surgery, it's not gonna happen. And then he says something about the test is positive, so I can't do your surgery. And he's looking at his phone the whole time. I'm like, but it came back negative. He's like, yeah, I'm considering it a positive, and I'm not doing surgery on a patient who's positive on both marijuana and nicotine. I was like, all this money that I paid, and you're about to cancel on me, and now now I'm most likely gonna get a $1,000 fine because of cancellation. Because if you cancel I think it was before 24 hours. Don't quote me on that, but something like that. So if you cancel period, and for any type of stuff that may be your fault, you know, if it was the doctor's fault, it would be a different situation. But if it's your fault, like, you know, because of drug tests, pregnancy test, you know, just the BMI not being right, some type of health condition, if something gets canceled because of that, they will give you a $1,000 fine on top of what you're already paying, because pretty much you made them waste their time. So I was like, well, this sucks. So then the woman that does the anesthesia, she came in to the office and she started asking me questions, and she was like, she's like, so you haven't smoked before? I'm like, yeah, I smoked. I'm a smoker, but I don't smoke nicotine. I don't smoke cigarettes. I told her that that's something that I have done, but I don't do anymore. And I told her that I do smoke weed, but that I stopped for this procedure. And she pretty much told me like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie. And she's saying, you haven't like hookah or vaped or anything like that? I'm like, no, I have not, because clearly he told me that I needed to be clean of all this stuff before I went to surgery. I'm not gonna drive 7 hours down to Miami from Jacksonville, spend more than $5,000 on this surgery with, you know, medicine, recovery stuff, the surgery itself, you know, the Airbnb plus the rental car. I'm not gonna spend more than $5,000 to come here knowing that I'm dirty and that I'm gonna get canceled. You know, I'm not gonna put my life at risk either, so it doesn't make sense to me. And then she's like, I know. And then she calls the woman that did my drug test and my pregnancy test, and she tells her that, yeah, that they were positive when they were negative. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm just like, cool. So I'm like, I can't believe I'm going through this. She's like, here, let me try to help you. She's like, give me a second, let me try to talk to the doctor, let me go talk to the other nurse and let her come in here too. So ooh, I am not looking good. One second. Looks the same, but a little shinier. We're good. It's just that my lips are chapped, guys, so I keep putting this on because it's like literally sucking up the lip gloss, and it leaves them even drier. And I feel like they're dry. They don't look dry, but I feel them, so mind me. Anyways, skip that. So yeah, she tries to help me, and she goes to the doctor and talks to him about what was going on. And the nurse that did my drug test and everything came inside and to the office, and the anesthesia woman, nurse, whatever, she came in to the office as well. And she then the one that did the drug test sits in front of me. She's like, listen, I'm just gonna advise you to just drink plenty of fluids and cranberry juice this whole weekend, and then come back next week so we can see if we can go ahead and do it. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. That test was negative. She's like, yeah. She's like, are you insinuating that I changed the test because I did it right in front of you? You know, you seen that I didn't change it or didn't do anything with it. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that, but it was negative, and we both seen that there was a second line. She's like, yeah, but he considers a positive, not a negative. And then the woman says, wait, there was 2 lines, and she's like, yeah, but it was faint. She's like, yeah, but that's still, the anesthesia girl tells the other nurse, yeah, but that's still considered a negative. And I told her, yeah, that's what I was telling her. And then she's like, well, let me go see the test again. She's like, the other nurse, she's like, no, like, I'm not about to do that. She's like, just let her pee at the on a test again and let me see it. She's like, I'm not going to do that. She didn't want to help me at all. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go over what the doctor says, which I understand is her job. So cool. The anesthesia girl was like, well, give it to me. I'm the one that's going to do it for her then. And then she's like, I'm not getting the test for you. So the anesthesia girl, she's like, well, then I'll go get it myself. So she goes and gets another drug test and nicotine test, and she tells me to go ahead and pee again. I pee for her again. She does it. She sees that the 2 lines come in on the nicotine and the marijuana one, so that means that they're negative. And the pregnancy test has 1 line, which means it's a negative as well. So she's like, these are negative. She's like, so she tells the nurse, she's like, no, those are not negative. They need to be like this. So she grabs the urine test of the other girl that has never smoked in her life. Like, she's never smoked anything in her life from what she was telling me. She said it was a long time ago, and it was like when she was very, 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 very young. So she shows her test, and then she has like these really bold lines. But of course, because she's like mega clean. I'm not even gonna get bold lines like that, not even if I start smoking for like a year or something like that, just because literally, like, I pretty much smoke a lot, you know. It's not that it's like something that I'm always doing, that I just live, you know, high or whatever. No, because I got priorities, but I do smoke quite a lot. So, or better say, when I smoke a lot. When I say I'm gonna smoke, I smoke a lot. Let's just say that. But you know, so I went through all this process, and then I'm not gonna get my surgery. So this is just like, yesterday I was here from 12 to like 7 something, almost 8, and then I got canceled there, and then I come back today, and I'm about to get canceled again for something that doesn't make sense to me. And then she, anyways, the anesthesia nurse felt bad for me, so she's like, I'm gonna pee on the test because I smoke cigarettes, so I'm gonna show her the difference between a negative and a positive one. I'm like, cool. So she pees on the test. She shows the difference between a positive and a negative, and they're like, no. So at the end of the day, it ended up being that she could not get Dr. Llorente to do my surgery because he didn't want to, period. So she came into the office all angry. She's like, listen, baby girl, I cannot do your surgery. He cannot do your surgery. I cannot convince him to do your surgery, and I understand him. I cannot force him, because when I don't want to do a patient, there's nobody that can obligate me to do that patient, period. So I'm like, okay, so what do you suggest me to do? Because this sucks, you know. I spent a lot of money. I'm about to get canceled. This is the 2nd time I get canceled, and it's not cool. Like, I was starting to get stressed. I'm like, everything is going perfectly so far until I met him. Like, what's going on? And she's like, well, your tests were negative. I know that they're negative, so I'm gonna tell you to go ahead and try to get your surgery done with Dr. Harry. He will not care that they're light lines and not bold lines, and he will do your surgery. So I was just like, but are you sure? Will he do my surgery, and will he be able to give me the results I want? And she's like, well, I cannot tell you that he's going to give you the results you want, because not even he can tell you that. It all depends on your body type and just period of how your body, you know, absorbs the fat. But I can tell you that he will do your surgery, and you will be able to come out of here with your surgery done. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I get dressed, I go back outside. The nurse tells me that she's gonna go ahead and see when I can get my surgery done with Dr. Harry, that they will most likely put me first thing in the morning on Monday or whatever. And then I went ahead and went home, and then I waited Sunday, which they're closed, and then Monday excuse me, Monday I went ahead and went for a pre-op, because they needed me to go through a pre-op first before I could get surgery. So I was not going to be the first surgery first thing Monday. I had to go through a pre-op again first with Dr. Harry. So I went ahead and went with that pre-op. I went and seen Dr. Harry. He is, guys, listen, when it comes to Dr. Harry, he gave me a completely different vibe than what Dr. Durante gave me. Like, Dr. Durante gave me dry. He gave me, like, come on, I'm trying to get this over with. Like if I wasn't the only one that he was going to do surgery and like, I was just wasting his time. Like, I don't know. It was a weird feeling. I didn't like the feeling. But I went ahead and spoke with him, and when he first came in, the first thing he did was that he bumped into his desk so freaking hard that he was literally rubbing on his knee for like the next 5 minutes after he bumped into his desk. And then he dropped his pen, and then I was just like, you're really clumsy. Like, are you sure you're gonna be able to do my surgery? Like, you're really clumsy, and I'm not trying to die. He's like, he started laughing. He's like, no, I'm fine, I'm okay, I promise. I do a great job. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I tell him my situation, and then I'm like, so I want you to do. I tell him how a picture of an Instagram picture from an Instagram model that I grabbed, and I told him I want to end up kind of like this. Like, I just want you to stuff me like a turkey. That's all I want. And he went ahead and said, okay, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you. I promise. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And he's like, I got you. And then I'm like, well, do you want to do the drug test and the nicotine test today? Because I don't want to have to come back tomorrow and then I get told that I cannot get my surgery done because it's supposedly positive when it's a negative. He's like, no. And he winked at me. He's like, I got you, don't worry. So I'm like, cool. So he got me. So then I was like obsessed. After I got out of the office, I was obsessed with just looking into who he was he certified, you know, the results he's given other dolls out there, and I ended up liking it. So I'm like, cool, I'll go ahead and go with this and go through it and see how it goes, and let's see. Excuse me. So yeah, I went ahead and went home and waited for that text to tell me when it was my surgery time. So I went ahead and waited. Ooh, by the way, guys, one thing that I left out from the story that really got me mad is how nosy and dramatic and just a horrible customer service the people from New Life have. All of them do not have customer service. The only ones that have customer service are a few of the nurses, which I never got their names. They're the ones that are like on the pre-op area, on the desk on the pre-op area. This blonde lady, she has blonde short hair and she's kind of on the thicker side. She was amazing. And then this little one, I think her name was Rachel. I think I remember her because she was the one that did help me out with scheduling with Harry. So, and Rachel, those two are amazing. And yeah, and on the last video I already spoke about my massages, and the ladies that did my massages, that's a whole nother thing. I didn't really like that either. There was only one that I liked, but unfortunately she wasn't able to do her job right because of me, because I wasn't feeling good. But anyways, so yeah, the one thing that really got me mad was when I went back to New Life, because for the pre-op for Dr. Harry, as soon as I went in, the valet guy, the parking valet guy comes in and he's like, hey, how was everything? How was surgery? And I was like, I haven't got my surgery. I had to reschedule with Dr. Harry. He said, oh, so you're the one that they were telling me about that felt that the nicotine and the drug test. Oh, you know what? Don't worry. I don't like Dr. Durante anyways. And blah, 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 blah. And then, he tells me, then after that, he's like, I like Dr. Harry though. Dr. Harry's a love. He's amazing. He's amazing. So I'm like, cool. So alrighty. But then I'm like why I signed a HIPAA form saying that I didn't want my stuff to be out. That's personal. And then even the valet parking guy knows my business, you know. Like, I didn't like that at all. I found it very unprofessional. So that got me angry. But moving on. Anyway, so when I got back to the Airbnb, I waited for the text, and finally got the text where I got told that I was gonna be the first one. Well, first I got a text saying that I was gonna be the second one in the morning, so around 7 I had to be there at 7 o'clock. And I was just like, but they told me I was gonna be the first one. She's like, yeah, but there's a woman that has high blood pressure problems, and we want to go ahead and take her in first. So I was just like, fine, you know, cool, at least I'm the second person. So then she texted me like 30 minutes later, and she's like, no, never mind, excuse me, and she's like, no, never mind, you're not gonna be the second one, now you're gonna be the first one in the morning, so I need you to be here at 6 in the morning. So I was just like, cool, you know, already I'm gonna be there at 6 in the morning. So they went ahead and sent me the whole list again of things I cannot do before surgery, etc., etc. I went ahead and took my shower again with the dial, so the night before, and then in the morning 30 minutes before going to New Life. Went ahead and went through that process again. I get to New Life. As soon as I get there, I sign in. They call me 5 minutes later, they call me back. I'm like, okay, things are going faster today. So they call me back, and they told me pee in a cup. I pee in a cup. She sees that the two lines come back up the same way that they came last time, because there wasn't like faint, like, oh my god, is there a line? Like, no, like I could see 2 lines. It just, they weren't bold, like red, bold. And then she puts negative, and then she gives me the stuff. She's like, go ahead and change. Let's go ahead and wait for Dr. Harry so he can talk to you and mark you up. So I was just like, cool. And so I went ahead and waited in that little office. I was waiting with Dr. Durante again before. And they went ahead and I waited for the anesthesiologist. I can never say that word, plus my accent doesn't help. So the anesthesia person, nurse, you know, thing, you know, it's not a thing. You know what I mean. Anyways, but yeah, so the anesthesia nurse, she went ahead and asked me the same questions that the other one had asked me. Then she's like, okay, cool, so you're good to go. She's like, let's just wait for Dr. Harry so he can do his thing. So I waited for Dr. Harry. Dr. Harry tells me good morning, and he's all silly again and making me feel comfortable and good. And he's like, okay, so come to this little office, to this little room that had like little curtains. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go in there, and then he was like, okay, take everything off. Like, I need you naked, like how you came to the world. I'm like, okay. So I take everything off, the little gown and hat and compression socks thing. Not the compression socks. I didn't have to take the compression socks off, but the little garment, paper garment that they give you, I had to take it off. And then he was like, okay, so we're gonna start marking you up. So he's like, let me start with your back. So he starts with my back. He starts marking me up on my back, or whatever. And then he marks my front, and he asked me if he wants me to go a little lower than where they usually do it at, because I have a lot of fat. Like, I had a lot of fat down there. That was like my biggest area on my stomach, my biggest problem area. And I'm like, yeah. So he went ahead and went a little lower, marked a little lower, so he can go ahead and take everything out. So I told him just, you know, do 360 and whatever. He asked me if we had the cell saver, if I had chosen the cell saver, and I said yes. So I went ahead and chose the cell saver. So yeah, I went ahead and chose the cell saver. He marked me up. I showed him a picture of how I wanted to do it again, because I know he sees a lot of patients and he wasn't going to remember the picture that I showed him. So I showed him again, and I told him to stuff me like a turkey again, and nothing. Then he told me, all right, so I'm going to go back, start getting everything ready. Go ahead and put your gown back on, and then go back to the office. So that's what I did. And yeah, then after that, got my surgery. They put me to sleep. I got my surgery, and I woke up shivering. I felt like I was naked in like the coldest part of the world. And yeah, that was it. And if you want to know about that process, there's also a video on my first day, like of the few hours that I was post-op, after I got my surgery done. So yeah, that was my process. Also, the manager at New Life, horrible, guys. She'll be all sweet when it's convenient to her. Like when she was telling me, you know, about the Durante thing, that he had to cancel because he had to go to some other hospital for emergency or something like that. She was telling me everything with a smile and grabbing me by the arm and being all, you know, buddy with me. And when I was trying to tell her, trying to complain to her about what happened with Durante and how I felt about it and how I felt it was wrong, and how I even got a text saying that I'm lucky that I didn't get the $1,000 cancellation fine put on for me to pay again. Like she's like, I tried to tell her about it and she didn't let me talk. She's like, so what did you want to talk to me about? I'm like, so I wanted to talk to you about something that has happened. She said, if it's about the situation, she cut me off and she goes, if it's about the situation that happened to you, I'm already up to date with it. I'm like, but are you up to date with it with what they told you or what? Because you don't know about what I got to say and how I felt. And she was like, so what is it? And I'm like, well, you know what, since you know my story already, supposedly, I just wanted to see if it's possible to keep the same price with Dr. Harry, but I just want to use the cell saver without you guys charging me, because I don't want to be charged for that. It's just, I don't find it fair because after all this stuff that I had to go through. She's like, I don't think so, I don't know what I could, let me see what I could do for you, because our system is down. Their system was down for like 2 or 3 days. So she didn't let me explain to her at all, and she was really bitchy with me, and I didn't like it, and I hated how bipolar she was. And then afterwards, when I was getting better, she will walk past by me without even saying hi. But like, she will, like, literally, I'll be in between other people, other dolls I got done, and she will say hi to me. Oh, how you doing? She will skip right over me. She didn't want to have nothing to do with me. Like, nothing to have to do with me. You know why? Because most of them thought that I was actually positive on my test, and they thought they were waiting for me to get infections and holes on my booty and, you know, a whole bunch of ugly stuff, and that I wasn't gonna heal right and I was gonna have problems through the whole recovery area, because they warned, a couple of them warned me about it. But afterwards, they seen that I was walking fine. At the 3-day mark, I walked in there fine. Like, my doctor looked at me, he's like, how many days are you? I'm like, I told him I was 5 days. I think at that time I was 5 days post-op. And I told him like 5 days post-op. No, 3 days post-op. 3 day post-op. Sorry, that was a long thinking, I know. But I told him it was 3 days post-op. And he got really surprised of how I was looking, and, you know, so on and so forth. And then he was just like, cool. And everybody started seeing that I was doing good in that whole time. And I don't know if they started hating. I don't know if it was that they got surprised about it. I don't know what it was. Everybody will talk to me fine. Everybody that warned me about that situation was like, well, you know what, good thing that, you know, you're healing right, that you're feeling good and all this stuff. But the only one that did not talk to me was the manager, which I do not care. That she kept ignoring me, that she wouldn't make eye contact with me, and she would say hi to my fiance, but she wouldn't even say hi to me. And she would say hi to him sometimes, not all the time. But when she would say hi to him, and I'm right next to him, and she wouldn't even make eye contact with me. So I was just like, cool, whatever. So I don't know what her deal was. I don't care what her deal was, honestly. I am just happy that my surgery went well. I am alive. I am good. I am loving my results so far. As my body keeps changing, I'm very swollen. Unfortunately, I haven't been wearing a faja for a few days now, because the curvy gal faja that I had customized, they customized it way too small, and it was cut into my ribs and causing my ribs to be in pain and like a weird indent. So I stopped wearing it, and I decided to go ahead and order an extension from Curvy Gal for my faja, which was $25. I went ahead and ordered that the other day. I should be getting it either today or tomorrow, so I can start wearing my faja again. Also, somebody had asked me about the Curvy Gal 360 lipofoam. I am not sure if they have it on their website. That came with their recovery box. I didn't, when I got on their website, they did not have it for sale like individually. So I am not sure. You may want to ask them about it and see what's going on there. But if not, I'm pretty sure you can find them on Amazon or something like that. But yeah, anyways, that was my experience with the stuff in Miami, BBL stuff, and what I had to go through before getting my BBL surgery, which was a nightmare, and it sucked. And it sucked bad. And I don't ever want to go through it again. And if even if they told me that they would give me another BBL round for free, I would not do it. One, because everybody there sucks except for my doctor, and of course maybe the other doctors, I didn't meet them, but everybody else that I meet but my doctor was an asshole. And two, because I love my results. I think it was worth it and everything like that, but I am not ever trying to go through that pain again and being that uncomfortable again and still feeling uncomfortable and bloated and swollen and a little bit of everything. But yeah, anyways, I am going to show you guys how I'm looking so far. Hopefully soon I can do a little update, like a 6-week or maybe 7-week update of how I'm feeling, because as of right now I don't have much of a difference, but I am looking a little bit different. So keep in mind, like I said, I haven't worn my faja in a couple of days, so I'm very, very swollen. Like my waist is, it's not as snatched as it is when I do wear my faja. You know, when I wear my faja like religiously, and then, you know, my waist actually comes down with the swelling. I have a very small waist, but right now from how swollen it is, honey, no, it's not happening. But anyways, give me 1 second. Let me see. Is that a good? Is that good? Okay, I think you can see there. Let's see. Yep. But anyways, they said this dress is a little, you know, but let me scoot this back a little bit more. Okay. So this is from the front, right there. This is the front. This is the side. This is the side right here. And then this is the back. Yep. So that's how I'm looking so far. So yeah, guys, that's how I'm looking. I will try to do another video with my updates, maybe a 6 weeks and a half, 7 week, hopefully within that time. But I did want to upload this video beforehand because I know that there is a lot of people that are considering New Life, that are considering Dr. Harry, that are considering Miami. And this is stuff that might happen to you, might not happen to you. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But, you know, it's stuff that, you know, maybe some dolls that were out there can relate to, or maybe somebody that might be going through it, or maybe somebody that is gonna get to there and, you know, maybe something like this happens to you and you're not surprised because, you know, you got to see that it's something that does happen. But anyways, guys, hopefully I can make that video very soon for the update. If there's any differences, if there's no differences, then I'll just make the video anyways, just to let you guys know. But anyways, other than that, before you guys go, and before I do let you go from this long almost 1 hour video, which I'm trying to work on that, it's just that I have so much information that I want to share that my videos just go on so long, because I just tend to ramble on about everything, because I want you guys to know everything and be as prepared as possible. But yeah, anyways, yeah, thank you for staying this long. If you didn't make it this long, I'm very happy that I have so many subscribers, guys. I'm finally at 250 something, which means that I'm doing good, that I am able to help other people out. I am helping other people out, and it's amazing. I just want you guys to feel free to comment any type of comments you may have, any type of question, any advices you may need, anything at all. Do not be afraid to comment them down below. I always answer within the hour or so, unless it's late at night, then I will answer the next morning. But, you know, I always answer as fast as I can, okay? But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you get a notification every time I do upload a new video, and stay tuned for the next videos. Love you, my darlings.